Hello everybody. Today's video is going to be about a certain genetic concept called epistasis. So what is epistasis? It's when the expression of one gene masks the expression of another. In this case, the gene for baldness makes it you have no hair, so the hair color gene will not be expressed. And over here, for normal expression, you have blonde hair and red hair. But when you have the gene for baldness, you have an epistatic interaction. And no matter what the first gene does, you are going to have no hair. So the gene that is masking the other gene, the baldness gene, is going to be called the epistatic gene. While the other, the hair color gene, the one that's being masked, is called the hypostatic gene. So there will be two main types of epistasis, dominant and recessive. So dominant epistasis is when the dominant phenotype of one gene masks another. In this case, B is going to be masking A. So whenever B has one dominant allele at least, if there's one capital letter, it's going to have a dominant phenotype, and that will be white. And whenever the pepper is white, no matter what A is, if it's homozygous dominant, heterozygous, or homozygous recessive, the gene B will take over. The dominant phenotype for B will take over. And if you can see here, when B is homozygous recessive, and when it has a recessive phenotype, A can have some expression. In this case, when A is also a dominant phenotype, then it can be yellow. And when A is also a recessive phenotype, it can be green. And the common ratio for dominant epistasis is 12 to 3 to 1. If you see that, you can pretty much assume that it's dominant epistasis. So for recessive epistasis, it's when the recessive phenotype of one gene masks another. So pretty much the exact opposite. So here you can see for the C gene, if it's homozygous recessive, which means it has a recessive phenotype, no matter what A is, it's going to be white. But if C is not, then you can have different fur colors for mice based on what A is. In this case, if A is homozygous recessive, then it's black. So you can see here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 brown mice, 1, 2, 3 black mice, and 1, 2, 3, 4 white mice. So the common ratio for recessive epistasis is 9 to 3 to 4. So there are going to be two more complex versions of epistasis that I would like to go over. And the commonality between these two is that both genes have a sort of epistatic effect on each other. So the first one is going to be dominant duplicate epistasis. This happens when both the dominant genotypes of both alleles are going to have the same phenotype. That means if you have a homozygous A or a homozygous B dominant, then both of those are going to have the same expression, like both white fur color, for example. And both the dominant genotypes mask the other's recessive genotypes. So that means that if you have a single capital letter anywhere in that dihybrid cross, you're going to have the same phenotype. So the ratio here is going to be 15 to 1. The only way you're going to have any other sort of expression for that trait is going to be if you have a double homozygous recessive. So recessive duplicate epistasis happens when both the dominant phenotypes are the same thing and both the recessive phenotypes are also the same thing. So it's adding on to this. And both the recessive genotypes are going to mask the other's dominant genotype. So the ratio here is going to be 9 to 7. That means if you have a double homozygous, a homozygous recessive, then no matter what the other one is, it's going to be that sort of trait. But if you have a double homozygous or dominant or a heterozygous, then it's going to be the other trait. Okay, so that will be it for today. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something.